School improvement plans. We will hear improvement plans from the Rolla Technical Institute and Center, Rolla Junior High School, and Rolla High School this evening. We will start with RTI/C.
I have a couple. While they make their way down, I thought we'd share a few slides with you if you call your attention to the screen. We talk about our comprehensive school improvement plan periodically through the year, and that is our strategic plan. It's the roadmap for the school district, and it has some basic tenets in it that you will hear tonight as they're embedded in the individual school improvement plans. We have 5 goal areas. I won't read those to you, but those are the things that have strategies and tactics that are under those. And for example, when the board engaged in their retreat last month, those were the guiding principles that we used. These are those expanded with the strategies and the tactics. Again, things like our book study and what you're going to hear tonight from the individual school buildings will have a relationship to the specific school improvement plan. Of course, what we do with our staff, highly qualified staff, with recruitment and compensation and all those things are certainly important. So these are, the expansion of those 5 major goal areas with the overall goal and then the strategies embedded underneath. Of course, one of the things you're going to hear tonight is student performance in a variety of ways. We, as you've heard from Mr. Hounsome and you'll hear from the principals and directors tonight, we are much more than just data from student performance data from the spring assessments. There's a lot more you'll hear relative to student performance tonight than that. And then governance, pretty self-explanatory. So the order, as you see in your board packet, we've flipped the script, so to speak. The elementary and middle schools typically have gone first, but since we're involved with parent-teacher conferences, they asked for a respite from that this year, and we flipped it the other way, and there's no magic to the order. We will listen to RT. This is different than what you have on the agenda, but Nancy's in charge, so RTI, RTC's first. And then on the 16th of November, our next meeting, we'll hear from the middle school, Wyman, Mark Twain, and Truman. And then during that 16th meeting, you will, as a board, be asked to approve the professional development plan, which is the formal approval of the dollars that are expended to allow each of the buildings in the district fulfill their professional development goals related to school improvement. So just to give a little context to why we do what we do, and what you're hearing tonight is a summary of a lot of work that the principals and directors have engaged in with their respective staff members and their parents and the students that are involved. So with that, we'll turn it over to Mr. Duncan, Mr. Chapman, and Mr. McCarthy. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Matt. Okay, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to get to come and share with you this year's plan, and appreciate all the support as always. So we'll start off our plan with basically how we finished up last year. A year ago, we came to you with the school improvement plan for 16-17. And so we'd like to start off, and I won't spend a lot of time on it, but kind of show you how we met and didn't meet different areas and how we're going to use those in this year's plan. In goal number 1, that's where we emphasize the recruiting and implementing high-quality programs in the area of career and tech ed. Recruitment's a big deal. All of our programs are elective, so there's really not a requirement for any of our adult or high school students to have to come. So we have to get out there and show what we do and the relevance and make them career ready. So the one area I'll go through that, we had expand recruitment activities, and we had a 2% increase as a goal based on a 4-year average, and we did not meet that. We did increase in enrollment, but not up to 2%. We'll talk about that. I'll kind of show you, because our leadership team did want that to be included in this year's plan, so we think that's important. So we tweaked it a little bit, and you'll see it in this year's plan to still shoot for that 2% increase. We were very pleased. Early childhood, it's up and going. Very, very excited about that. Mrs. Diaz is doing a great job, and Laura Brown has been great to help us there, and our students are now out into those facilities 3 days a week, so that's exciting. The applications the process for registrations. The number 2, our second strategy, we talked about implementing and aligning our programs with a high-quality career and tech ed model that was kind of a early program that the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education put out, and we started with that, and that seems to be a good area, and we're going to keep that in this year's. We'll talk about that again in just a minute. And we also wanted to see a 5% gain in our career and technical student organizations on the adult side, which that's our Skills USA organization and our HOSA in the healthcare. And so it was based on enrollment, getting more students involved there, and we said 5%, and we met that. On the second goal, this was on student performance, and a big part for us is to get them to career ready, and completion placement rates are a big part of all of our outcomes. We wanted to also on the secondary side, the embedded credit was important. We set a goal that 80% of our students that earn embedded credit would make a B or better, and we met that with 481 students. We had 100% on our articulations for dual credit reviewed, and on the second one, our standards for our Perkins data as well as MSIP we met. That 2.2 is a big one. That's about completion, placement, and licensure that all of our adult programs are held accountable to. And at that time, we had a couple programs that had not met some of those, but now we're in really good shape. All of our programs have met that. We'll talk a little bit when Mr. McCarthy talks about the 80% where that came in. We wanted to expand work-based activities so that our consortium and all of our sending schools get an additional 2 points on the annual performance review, and we expanded our culinary program into another work-based internship, so that was really good. Goal 3 is where we look for the technology and instructional practices, as well as our advisory wanted us to add safety in different forms. Last year we met the substantial improvements. We had Mr. Chapman was in RTI. We redid the parking lot and made that a much safer place so that all the buses stay right up on the sidewalk. And that's been a huge area of improvement when maintenance was able to get that repaved, so it's really been nice. At RTC, Mr. McCarthy worked with our medical programs. We updated the beds in all the facilities, and they're much less risk and high-tech and much safer. So we also met, we had a 10% growth in our surveys in the spring, reflecting collaboration that the staff gave, that we did in April, and all of our staff earned 6 hours or more of district training last year. So coming into this year, how does that tie in and assist with the goals of the district that we just saw, the CSIP plan of the district? Won't go through all of those, but under parent and community involvement, highlighted one area, and that is this year we're going to increase participation rather than enrollment in our career and technical student organizations. So basically, this is a new area that the Department of Elementary has been asking for data on, and that is actually measuring participation. How active are FFA students? How active are the health HOSA students, the DECA students? So there's a rubrics that they've put out. We've done that for a couple years now, and we submit it. We're not sure why, but we're sure it's going to tie to something down the road, so we're paying attention to it. And that gives us a benchmark, and so our goal there is to increase participation. And these are things like how active we are in leadership opportunities, competitions, everything involved with the community support there. Highly qualified staff. We are very appreciative of the opportunities we have on the PD days to be able to do some of the things specifically related to career and tech ed. So we're going to continue that. The number 3 is continue the registered apprenticeship. We have a short clip here at the end of the next goal that I think will explain that and tell that a little bit more in detail with what we're doing there. Our student performance, the leadership team thought the academic rigor, increasing that to a higher percentage. We thought that was a really good goal. We just barely met the 80%, so the 85% that you're going to see coming up is going to be a big one, but we think it's a good one that we can kind of target and shoot for, so that all of the students earning embedded credit would have a B or better in their CTE program. And the governance, number 5, we are focusing on program accreditations, and you'll see a little bit of that at the end of the presentation. So this year, bringing into any questions so far? May I have any questions? All right. This year, goal 1 remains the same goal. Our strategies and measures changed to some extent. We still are going to keep an increase in enrollment of 2% as our goal. We also, 1.1, we did this a few years ago in drafting. Our leadership team wanted us to keep drafting and design in mind. Currently, it's a part-time program, and we would like to see that grow back to a full-time program. And putting it on this school improvement plan to where we're going to be seeing it throughout the year at our PD in different areas, I think keeps it in front of us. And it worked with masonry, so we're optimistic that it will with drafting. The increased activities in our sophomore career day. I know some of you got to come and see that day, and we tried to enhance that. It's an opportunity that we have all the sophomores in the building, and so we really tried to increase getting people there so that they bring all their sophomores and making it a special day. So so far we're most of the way there. We're still working with the high school, so we can do that with Rolla in January. So we're appreciative of being able to coordinate that. On number 2, we're still evaluating our programs. We want those to be high-quality career and tech ed programs. So number 2.1, again, that keeps us out front to align our evaluations. Each program will have to align to that standard, which there's a lot of documents that go to that, and that is now looking like that is an area that will be a part of the new career and tech ed funding formula for career and tech ed down the road. So it's good that we're ahead of that and already have that in motion. We already spoke about 2.2, increasing participation by 5% in those career and tech student organizations. 2.3, we are in the process of defining and implementing a high-quality career and tech certificate for concentrators. And that is a Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has acknowledged and will recognize our freshmen this year. For Rolla, as well as all of our sending schools, there will be a certificate available for those students when they graduate in 2021 if they have a list of criteria. There's a lot of things that are set, but there's a lot of things at the local area that we're trying to put in place to make that happen. And the concentrator basically means they have to be in a career and tech ed program pathway for at least 3 sequential credits. So they've had to earn 3 credits to be part of that. And then if they do so much work-based activities and attendance, pass their industry credential or work keys test, that's going to be a plus for them. And then we want to continue to develop and expand apprenticeships for employers. I have a real short video that shows the last 10 months what we've been doing to make that happen. And this was an effort through the Department of Labor, DESE, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and our programs with Quaker Window Products in Freeburg. So, yep. That's Mr. Rutledge. He's the HR director at Quaker.
Roy Rutledge. I'm the Director of Human Resources at Quaker Window Products. We are excited to partner with RTI and the wood manufacturing program led by Mr. Robert Studdard. And we're particularly excited about the registered apprenticeship program that we participate in. We have a student in the program. It's been, without a doubt, one of the easiest programs we've ever had to deal with. Mr. Studdard does all the work and we get all the glory, but it's a wonderful, wonderful program, and we're excited to be able to participate.
This was our student there as he's working on some of the projects.
Hi, I'm Matthew Seago. I graduated from Holmesville High School in 2017, and I was a career and technical education student at Rolla Technical Institute, and I was enrolled in the wood manufacturing program in both my junior and senior year. Rather than college, I'm getting work experience with Quaker Window products, as well as post-secondary education through RTI's wood manufacturing program. My clock hours at RTI count toward my apprenticeship hours, and I look forward to earning my journeyman credential through RTI and Quaker Window products.
Hello, I'm Robert Studdard with Rolla Technical Institute's Wood Manufacturing Program. It was my pleasure to implement RTI's first registered apprenticeship program with the Department of Labor. Matthew Seago from Owensville High School was our first registered apprentice. Roy Rutledge from Quaker Window Products was our first industry partner. A special thank you goes out to Mike Smith from the Department of Labor and Oscar Carter from the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education for the collaborative meetings and travel to Rolla to help make this happen.
Hello, my name is Oscar Carter. I'm Director for Skilled Technical Sciences for the state of Missouri. I work with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Just want to take a moment of your time to brag on your local vocational school there at Rolla Technical Institute. They are one of our pioneers in the area of registered youth apprenticeship. I was able to work with them, with the Department of Labor, and because of the leadership of Matt Duncan and others there in your school district, they were able to get a wonderful talent pipeline in place that I think will be a benefit to your school and to many students in the future.
Okay, so basically our apprenticeship is kind of a enhanced, robust internship, but it's a lot more to it. There's a lot of meetings and a lot of collaboration to get that, but at the end, the student does have a credential that they can use that they will end with. So.
Yeah, I think I can figure out most of the alphabet soup, but I don't remember what TSA is.
The TSA, that's our Project Lead the Way students.
Okay.
They have an organization called Technology Student Association.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're the ones who do airport security.
I knew that.
Okay. I'm going to turn over Goal 2 to Mr. McCarty. Is there any other questions with anything on Goal 1? Okay.
As previously mentioned, this is a collaborative project that we do with the teachers. We begin at the beginning of the year. We get some input from last year's surveys and stuff like that. And we see this as a process. So a lot of our goals don't really change. It's more, we don't put down goals that we think will be a checklist. We check it off and then we're done. So Goal 2, a lot of what Mr. Duncan brought up previously stayed the same. We just kind of cranked it or ratcheted it up a little bit on different points. So I'll bring up the points that we made a little bit of a change on, and we'll be free to answer questions here in a minute. Strategy, Goal 2 focuses on student performance. It focuses on completion rates and placement rates. Being a tech school, we're trying to prepare them for a job. If they don't get a job, we haven't done our job. Strategy 1 addresses embedded credit, dual credits, and articulation agreements. On 1.1, we increased our goals from 80% to 85% for students earning embedded credit with a grade of B or higher. We were wanting to get the rigor there. They get the credit, and we didn't want to be challenged by anybody, so we wanted to make sure that they had the grade point to go with the credit that they were earning. On 1.2, we look to expand dual credit in our articulation agreements. Dual credit's good for students, and articulation agreements are great for students because it says if you start here, we have an agreement, and you can move on to this next step. So those are very positive actions and things that we can do for our students. Strategy 2 addresses our desire to achieve at the highest levels possible. We look to meet or beat MSEP, Perkins standards for placement, industry recognized credentials, technical skills assessments, dual technical credits, and lately we've been concerned about our graduation rate of career and technical education concentrators. Mr. Duncan explained that concentrator is somebody that takes 3 classes in the same venue. And our Perkins report identified this as an area in which we could improve. So we're going to take their report serious, and we're going to start addressing that this year. On 2.1, our institution's accreditor, which is the Council of Occupational Education, each of our programs has an individual accreditor, but we have an accreditor that covers all of RTI and RTC. And they set our exit data benchmarks for as 60% of the students should complete, 70% should place, and then 70% should obtain licensure. We're looking for 80% of our programs to meet these targets. When you think about something like LPN or LPN program, we have 30 students. Yeah, we shoot way above that, way above the 60%, 70%, and 70%. We're in the 90, 92, 93. When you look at Rad Tech, we have 30 students in their total. We shoot way above that. The 80% may seem like a low target. If you have a program and it's mostly high school, but you only have 2 adults in there, and 1 drops out, you're at 50% on all those levels. So that's where our numbers come from. But our programs that are mostly adult, we have no problem with those benchmarks of 60, 70, and 70. So on number 2.3, we look to increase our number of programs that offer a DESE-approved, industry-recognized credential. People are looking for certifications. People are looking for credentials. In the tech world, credentials are everything. It's the letters behind your name. So we're looking to make sure that as many programs that we offer, we can get the credentials and the certifications associated with that too, as our students graduate from our program. If we're successful with this on number 2.3, it adds two additional APR points to every one of our sending schools districts. So their school report card from the state, we get 2 additional points just by the work that Mr. Duncan does to bring us some more industry-recognized credentials. That's always been appreciated in the past by the sending schools, as you can imagine. I kind of went through that quickly. Mr. Duncan had already previewed most of those. Do you guys have any questions? All right. We'll be here all night.
Maybe. Well, welcome. I get to, glad you have me, and I'm glad to be here with these 2 gentlemen. I get to end most of it with talking about technology and safety. We're a tech center, so our technology needs to be very well up there. And then safety becomes more and more prevalent on everything we do with all kinds of projects. So goal 3 is about technology and safety. Last year we did a bunch of facility enhancements. This year we've continued with that. So what that goal is going to talk about is one thing is safety trainings. We've done the facility stuff. We want to really put into what we can actually give in a credential to our students' safety. We have our building trades programs. They all go through OSHA 10. We do that in-house. We have our own trainers, and all of our students come out with their OSHA 10 card ready to go to work in any kind of construction. We also have that available in the evenings for other people if they want to take that for other students. We also have CPR, BLS. We do that in-house. We do that in-house training for all of our students or all of our faculty and most of our students. So that's another thing in there. And then also this year, we're making sure all of our technology programs like IT, marketing, Project Lead the Way, we're adding in safety training for them too. Now their safety training may be a little different, might not be that CPR, might not be that OSHA construction, but some safety training. There's a lot of stuff we need to work with when it comes to technology and how safe and the citizenship on that end. So we're making sure we have some training and credentials and certificate for those students to take with them as they leave us. That's becoming more and more popular as you see through all this, taking something with them to that job, to that next job. We have last year on the second strategy there, we really looked in to see what our surveys between Mr. Duncan, Mr. McCarthy, and myself, our staff surveys that we send out. We really dive deep into that and try to find what, as together, as a whole, what our lowest numbers are and what we can do to make those numbers go up. Last year had to do with collaboration, so we've put a lot of stuff together in the 2 buildings. We really try to talk about RTI/C versus RTI/RTC. We are together. We do collaborate. Mr. Duncan's in both buildings every day. And so Mr. McCarthy and myself try to do that too, so they can all see us collaborate. And not each of us in each building, but at least once a week or so, we really try to get in each other's building to make sure people know we're collaborating and having meetings and doing those things together. We've brought a lot of teachers in on the collaboration in the last year. We did a lot of things with program and program. Our health science instructors, our health science students go and teach our students in Intro to Service Careers, what you might know supermarket. They teach them how to wash their hands. And then our supermarket career, or what is now Intro to Service Careers, students teach our health science students how to prepare pizza and pretzels and those type of things. So that's a really good collaborative thing we've done in the past.
Chapman, can you, for Mrs. Clayton, I don't know if she knows about supermarket careers, evolution, kind of talk about that program?
Yeah, our supermarket careers is one of the best the best things that probably we do, I would say Career Tech Ed wide in the state. We have all of our approved programs, our cabinet making program, wood manufacturing, or automotive that you may know about and just seen. We do work on cars. We have ASE certified mechanics to teach our students to be able to pass those tests. But we also have a program that was been called for many years Supermarket Careers. Before that it was McJobs, and all of it started with grant money. And through the years, some of those grant monies have left. We're not there anymore. Have fizzled out, and we've continued that on. So Rolla Public Schools continues. We use a lot of federal money to do that, but we charge no tuition for Rolla or Cindy School students for this particular program. And it's for special needs students that want to be in a service industry career. We believe those students, of course, like everybody, that we can give them the opportunity to be really good citizens and productive. And how we do that is what we call our service careers. We changed the name 2 years ago from Supermarket Careers, where we used to always place those students in supermarkets as an internship, to Intro to Service Careers, because we're actually putting them in hotels and stuff like that too. We teach them how to clean rooms, make beds, and then also some of them do go to supermarkets as well. But it's all service career, service industry focused. Those students, we have breaks, because if you know RTI has most of our classes over there, not all, but most of our classes are 3-hour blocks. We got an AM block and a PM block. We have 8 sending schools plus a few Rolla in the morning, and then really heavy Rolla and 7, and then 2 plus Rolla in the afternoon. We have a break halfway through that 3-hour block, and during that break you can come over and see those service career students actually serve the rest of our students food products that they actually make. So we're selling them pizza that we've actually put together, ran it through the oven, all that, and our students do that. The very high functioning students will come through, learn how to use a cash register, actually sell those products and price them out. It is a very nice program. Starts every day with classroom setting, and then it goes into the production mode, and then the service industry stuff of selling that stuff, and finishes with the classroom portion for those students. But it's a great program. If you're ever in a bad mood and need something to brighten your day, come over and see me. I'll take you up the hall. And Mrs. Lancaster and Mrs. Parks, the 2 ladies in there, I can show you what they do with students that are excited to help other students every day. It's a fun place to be, and terribly excited about it. But it's evolved over the last several years, but I think we're in a good place and provide a really good service. It has 15 and 16 students, or a little over 30 students in there during the day, and it's a great opportunity for students here in Rolla plus 9 senior schools. So do a lot of things there. Those students also will get safety training. They do that too, and we're putting that to every. It's not an approved program, so that's why we fund it through some grants, and we take it on with the rest of our programs. Where I was also talking about tech training there. If you go down to the bottom on after number 2, I was talking about the surveys. So that was last year with collaboration. This year we've looked, as you can see, is professional development plans. I heard that talk earlier, professional development money. So our staff has told us through our administrative surveys that they want us to be more engaged with them about their professional development plans. And so that's what we're really striving for this year, is to work harder. I've met with staff, Mr. McCarthy's met with staff, Mr. Duncan's met with staff about professional development plans in the past. But this year we've revved that up. We're actually doing the evaluation system where we've got a lot more at this time this year than we were last year. We're meeting with those staff a lot more to really work on that professional development and how to help them. That also is going to shine, hopefully, when we're coming back and wanting to put our drafting and design program to full time. We're really doing a lot of professional development with that young teacher and making that program exciting. So to keep all the rest of our programs full, that's where we're headed. And the professional development is where we're going to try. It's where I'm trying harder this year, and Mr. Duncan and Mr. McCarthy also. We're committed to do a better job. And then at the end there, it says the 6 hours. Everybody in the district has to do a minimum of 3 hours, or all the teachers have to do a minimum of 3 hours of tech training that's district approved. Last year we put that up to 6. This year the only change there was building approved instead of building and or district approved, or district and or building approved. And the reason we did that is we look at new equipment all the time. This year in our agriculture department, if you come up, we can make some really cool metal signage and do some things like that with our plasma that works off CNC, similar to what you would see off our in wood manufacturing, but it works with metal. And so that takes a lot of training itself for our staff. So we've added that in there so that would count for some of that tech training, because it's pretty high tech training, learning how to convert that CAD and stuff like that and drawings into using the plasma cutter. So if you want to see some of the stuff I talked about last year also, as I come to town every day, as I live out on Highway, I pass by the biggest lab project that Raleigh Public Schools has is out of Country Airs, and it's the house right on the corner. You cannot miss it. And I believe when it's done, you won't miss it either. But it's going to be a nice home. Once the side face in the road is done bricked, it's washed. Our safety equipment we talked about last year was that scaffolding. That's it. And then we're getting ready to move that around to the back side. So if you get an opportunity, as you look at safety stuff we've got, go by and check our house out. We will sure invite everybody. The porch should be poured. We were going to do that this week and didn't get done, but hopefully next week. And after that, it'll be easier to walk in the front door. But it's a nice home. It's the biggest lab project that you guys support. I hope you realize that and come out and see what our students do. It affects a lot of people. Any questions? Well, Mr. Duncan, take them home.
We'll just finish on the placemat, the accreditations. We had a few things, just kind of wanted to show you a visual of the placards that go with some of the areas that we shoot for to keep the programs with a stamp of quality. So we align with a lot. The first one there is our national accreditor. That's a big part of for us to have the ability to administer financial aid to the adult students and run our adult programs. But the rest run through various entities. Some of these you see at the hospitals, some you see at other places, but those are all areas that we are currently fully accredited with. So, yeah. Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.